Hey man, have you ever thought to yourself, am I insane? And does the type of music I listen to completely make sense with my level of sanity? Really? Wow, because that's what this whole video is about. Music can say a ton about a person, and what kind of music you listen to can play a huge part in shaping who you are growing up, who you're friends with, and how you view the world. And I'm not gonna lie to you, man, I base my entire personality on looking like Tom DeLonge from Blink-182, and I'm not afraid to show you this extremely angled picture of me with my bangs, my lip piercings, and my ears stretched that made my mom cry. Personally, I started getting into hardcore and punk music kind of in my high school times. I started going to shows, discussing music with new friends. Kind of felt like I was getting led into a world that I didn't even know existed. A lot of these shows would be in someone's smelly basement or in a Toronto dive bar with like 15 people in the crowd all moshing. And those small groups of people in those really small, kind of hidden away environments definitely reflected the kind of music. People connecting through more aggressive, emotional, underground types of music that was more underground than anything I'd known. A lot of who I am today came from being in those environments where people were bold and expressive with their music tastes, which in turn led me to be more accepting of what I liked and wanted to express and open up more about my interests and my music tastes. And that led to new friends and new experiences and just shared ideas all around. And if it weren't for finding the hardcore scene and the punk scene, that might not have happened. Personally, from my experience, my personality has definitely been altered and shaped from growing up in the hardcore and punk scene. So today, with all the science that we do here, dude, we asked, do certain genres of music attract certain personality types? And these aren't my findings. I'm just a curious traveler looking around on the internet. This information came by the way of a guy named Nathaniel with no last name from the website 16 Personalities, and I'll link his article in the description below. Within this article, they did a survey with 4,000 people and asked people with different personality types what their preferred genre was. We're going to be going over 5 different genres of music. I know there's 4 billion genres at this point, but we're going to keep it concise, like a burger. And yeah, I'd love to discuss pirate metal or witch house, but maybe in another video. We'll be covering rock, pop, jazz, country, and punk. And within these 5 genres, we're going to be breaking down which personality type leans to which genre of music. Within those personality types, we're going to be seeing if they're more introverted, more extroverted, more feeling or more thinking, meaning thinking about the lyrics, thinking about what the song means rather than just enjoying the feeling of the song altogether. And lastly, if they're more assertive or more turbulent. Assertive meaning more calm demeanor, and turbulent being a little more stress driven, a little more and I'm right in the middle, baby. I'm right in that sweet spot of almost about to explode and just hanging out, man. And all of these stats have been neatly organized into a application I've been avoiding my entire life, the Graph app. Yeah, I used to party, but now I just use the Graph app, so we'll start off with the most listened to genre being rock. I feel like being at any rock show, there's either a ton of dads or no dads whatsoever. It's either all dads or no dads at all, man. That's all the data you need. The dad. So for each genre, the website kind of gives you a brief explanation of the type of people who listen to the genre. So before I dive into the stats of each genre, I'll just read you a brief description of what it says. An emotionally intense rule breaker who loves arguing ideas, chasing new sounds, and finding meaning in music that refuses to stay inside neat little boxes. That's such a thoughtful, hard-hitting description, but all I can think of in rock is 40,000 dads at a Foo Fighter concert. So the introverts in this section actually preferred rock music. Assertive and turbulent were tied exactly on this one, which makes so much sense as you're surrounded by the most insane people of all time at a rock concert and the calmest people of all time at the exact same time. Thinking and feeling were pretty much 50-50, and as much as it's 50-50, dude, it's 100% dads. The next genre is going to be pop. I'm pretty into pop. Ever since I was gifted Millennium by Backstreet Boys at age 7, dude, I've been in. So the pop description is a social, emotionally driven, big-hearted person who loves music that feels larger than life, Backstreet Boys reference, easy to share and packed with drama, style, and feeling. Extroverted outweighed introverted pretty hard in this one. Pop feels like it's a very extroverted genre. People also leaned way more with the feel for pop, which makes sense. Sometimes I don't want to think, man, and sometimes I'm just always thinking. Some people try to meditate. I just fucking blare pop, dude. There's a lot more turbulent people listening to pop, a lot more stressed out people listening to pop. They're just trying to dance the stress away. Next up is jazz. I listen to a ton of jazz on Jazz FM 91. Shout out them. Please send me like a jazz clock? I don't know. So I have a lot riding on this to tell me who I am. Finally, a definitive answer. And the description here is jazz goers are known for empathy, diplomatic skills, and passionate idealism. I had to look up what passionate idealism is, and it's basically daydreaming, and that sums me up to a T. So I finally found who I am within a jazz personality test. So extroverted outweighed introverted a ton in jazz. Figured it would be the other way around for some reason, but I can also see a ton of people just loving to go out, jazzing it up. Thinking and feeling was fairly tied in this one. There's a lot of technicality to the playing, but also you're there for the vibes, dude. And assertive is more dominant in this genre, as this is the most relaxed genre of all time. Punk is the next genre, and this is the main genre that I listen to. And you're either introverted, extroverted, or in a mosh pit, dude. It can only be one. Punk listeners described here as a quiet rebel who thinks deeply, feels intensely, and uses raw, rule-breaking music as a way to express the truths the polished world refuses to say. Express truths the polished world refuses to say is the most punk line I've ever heard in my entire life. More introverted folk are listening to punk, and it's a little more of a thinking genre too. I'd say it's like 50-50. Like I feel like a lot of the time you're listening to aggressive music for the aggressive parts of it and to feel like you're just getting punched in the face. Like there's usually like a message being conveyed, so I feel like there's a lot of thinking as well. There's a lot more turbulent people in this, which makes sense. It's just like a bunch of stressed out introverts in the mosh pit. Next up is rap/hip-hop. A hip-hop listener is described here as an outgoing, confident, self-aware performer at heart who loves bold personalities, clever wordplay, and music that sounds like winning out loud. Every rap show that I've ever been to has contained the nicest people I've ever met, ever, at any show. Extroverted outweighs introverted by a ton with rap and hip hop, and feeling outweighs thinking in this one as well. Rap has this special thing where structurally, it doesn't need to be the most complex thing. As long as the vibe and the feeling is good of the song and consistent, that can make a song on its own. And it's a little more calm people than turbulent people in this one, which adds up with my experience with folks at the shows. Lastly, we're going to be doing country, a genre I'm not too well versed in, but I've been kind of dipping my toes in. A country listener is a warm, expressive, loving extrovert who finds comfort, heartbreak, and big-hearted identity in songs about real people and real feelings. Within the title, it already says extrovert, and that's what it is. That's who it is. That's who's listening. I can definitely say every person that I've ever met that's really into country is so outgoing. And this one heavily outweighs feeling over thinking. It feels like country listeners are there to feel something and put a hat on and feel every single feeling that's ever been made. And it's a bit of a calmer crowd here with assertive outweighing turbulent, and that makes sense, dude. You're in your pickup truck on a dirt road with your significant other's feet out the window potentially, and there's just so much corn around you. Why is there so much corn? I feel like a lot of the personality traits that line up with these genres, at least from my favorite two, jazz and punk, line up very well with me. And I know I didn't do a ton of genres in this, only 5. So maybe there's like a part 2 of this video where we do a few more genres. Let me know if your favorite genre was covered here, if it lined up with your personality, if I didn't mention the genre, and what genre I should do next. Thank you for watching. Say hi in the comments. If you feel like subscribing, feel free, and thanks again.